Hi from Australia. Good morning, David. Have a great show.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the show today. And it's just the most mesmerizing or mesmeric weather. Believe it or not, there's this word mesmeric. A lot of people don't necessarily use that. I think it's a wonderful word, mesmerizing. It's kind of being dazzled by the moment, being in awe. And how often are we in awe? I think it's something maybe children have more than adults. We're so perhaps conditioned and so busy with our lives, so much stress and anxiety that being mesmerized or being in awe is unusual. And I do think nature brings that out of us. In Japan, they have this wonderful forest bathing. What's it? Something Shituyuku or something like that. I'm just going to look that up. Forest bathing. I think I talked about forest bathing before, about the scientific evidence that they've done in Japan. Shinrin Yoku. And this practice is about going out in nature, particularly the forest. Believe it or not, in Japan they have millions and millions of trees. I think, is it 50% of Japan is forested, or it's extraordinary. I think it's the most forested country in the world, or maybe Costa Rica has a lot of forests, but Japan has a lot of forests. I shouldn't just make things up because I'm just talking, saying things. I don't know. I don't really know which is the most forested country in the world, but Japan has lots of trees, lots of forests, and I studied, in my studies, I studied a bit about Japan and the benefits of being in the forest. There's so many health benefits, and extraordinary how people's blood pressure decreases, their immune system upgrades, so immunity goes up. And just breathing in the forest air and having the sounds of the forest is very nurturing for the human body. So being in that environment, away from the stresses of cities, is helps mental health. A lot of studies which showed the mental health aspects: improved mood, more energy, more high energy levels. That was a big aspect. Reduce of negative feelings, negative thoughts, more mental clarity. Mental clarity was a positive effect. And I've spoken about the immunity, which is really fantastic. And I've mentioned the blood pressure. So reduce stress, and that was very significant, the blood pressure. And happened quite quickly with forest bathing, with being in nature. That happened pretty quickly, the decrease in blood pressure. So and some people say that even the essential oils in the trees and the leaves of the trees influences stress reduction. So it's very very wonderful and encouraging, the effect of the trees. And Debbie's written in the comments that Suriname is the most forested country in the world, so it's not Japan. Thank you, Debbie. It's not Japan. Japan definitely has lots of forests and lots of beautiful forests. So I forgot to send out the show to Stu. I don't know if Stu is with us today. I know Stu is always watching. Judy as well is a great fan of the show, a great supporter of the show. And Kim as well. Kim is also a great supporter. She often listens to the recording. So sorry for not sending that out to you today. We usually have some discussions, some readings, some general conversation. Kimberly Ann is here. And let me know where you are in the world, Kimberly Ann. Stu is here. Welcome to Stu. And Stu's in Florida. So Stu is this wonderful man in Florida. And Kathleen is saying hello Kathleen, welcome Kathleen. So let me know where you are, if there's anything on your mind right now, in your heart, if you have some challenges. And Kimberly's in Massachusetts. I don't know much about Massachusetts, but it's certainly a long name. That's very long, Massachusetts. So that's awesome. Welcome, Kimberly, and you can let me know a little bit about Massachusetts. Stu says it's really hot in Florida. So I guess it's nearly midsummer, and a couple of weeks' time it's going to be the longest day of the year. So longest day of the year, I think it's June the 23rd, 22nd, 23rd equinox, summer equinox. It's the longest day in the world, but over here in Australia, it's the shortest day of the world. So we just do the reverse. And Kathleen is from Rhode Island. Well, that's very unusual. We don't often have someone from Rhode Island. So welcome to Kathleen. That's really very wonderful. And Kimberly is my neighbor. Laugh out loud. So Massachusetts is Massachusetts literally near Rhode Island? I don't know. I'm sorry for the ignorance. So Kimberly and Kathleen, you guys are neighbors. That's really nice. And Boston is our capital. And of course, I have heard of Boston, particularly because of the universities. They have some famous universities in Boston. And I had a sort of friend who studied in Boston. And I think he was at Brandeis. Does that sound right? I know you have Harvard in. I think you have Harvard in Boston, but you have so many famous universities. Like I think it's MIT. Is it Massachusetts? M is for Massachusetts. So Massachusetts Institute of Technology. MIT, I think it is. And if I got it wrong, I'm sorry. But Harvard is of course probably the most famous of all. And yeah, that's all I can think of in Boston. That there's more universities. Richard is here. How are you? Also, how is your family, friends, and loved ones? You're great, wonderful, beautiful, fantastic, great manner, great human being. Many thanks. So thank you, Richard. I'm very touched by that, Richard. I'm not sure I know who you are, so please let me know more about you, because when you recognize something in another person, usually it comes from you, it comes from within. So you have those qualities within you, and it's very touching. Thank you, Richard. That's really beautiful. I'm doing okay. To answer your question, I got a traffic fine, and I was just talking to Debbie before the show how I haven't got a traffic fine for many years. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember when I got a traffic fine, but I think it was about 8 years ago. And this one is really really came out of the blues, because we don't have traffic. We don't actually have traffic officers in where I live in this town. It's called Port Douglas. So once a year they come to town for the festival, and they've had these hidden cameras. I didn't see the cameras, and I've been caught. And they've caught a lot of people in town with phones on their lap or holding their phones. So it's it's quite a lot of money, Richard. So it's been a bit upsetting, and perhaps it's a sign for me to follow all the laws more carefully, every letter of the law, and hide my phone away if it's being used, because I use the map, the Google map, and I also use Spotify. I don't know what you use, but Spotify, that's connected to my phone, so I do use those. So music-wise, things like that. They're things that just the maps as well, putting the seeing what destination, setting the destination. And how about you, Richard? How are your family, friends, and loved ones? So let me know where you are, Richard. And thank you for your beautiful comments. Kimberly Kathleen Cordilla, my sister-in-law, is from RI. So so that's one for your sister-in-law. And Kathleen says yes, and Kimberly says I'm new here, so where are you from, if you don't mind me asking? So Kimberly, I need to sneeze because I have hay fever, so if you will excuse the if you excuse the hay fever, it's not a good look. So I am allergic to everything, Kimberly, and I'm just feeling this allergy sensation spread throughout my being. So I'm going to do my best today. It does seem a bit physically challenging with all these allergies. But I grew up in Cape Town, which is in Africa. I don't know if you've heard of Cape Town. It's the southernmost tip of Africa, and it was a trade route, a European trade route. So the Portuguese, the British, the Dutch, the French, and I'm not sure who else, but the big trading European shipping companies, shipping countries, they used to use it as a port. Even the Germans came with some ships. So Cape Town was a big port. There were a few along the way, but that was a big port, and that's kind of the southernmost tip of Africa. So before they had the Suez Canal, if you had a ship, say from India going into Europe, the spice trading spices, for instance, that would go past Cape Town. So I grew up in Cape Town. My family moved to Australia. I've been living in Australia for 20 years or something like that. So I'm Australian, but I did grow up in Africa. So I'm a little bit of a fusion, and I've worked in many countries, particularly Asia, as a healer, as a practitioner. So I've kind of worked all over the world, been to many countries, but not all countries. And I meet many people who've traveled more than me. So when you've traveled a bit, you've traveled a bit, but some people have just traveled. I met a travel agent once, and he'd been to something like 120 countries. And I think I've been to 30-ish or around 30. And I was like, oh my God, 120 countries. That is out of this world. So we're considered New England, Kathleen says. So Rhode Island is part of New England. Okay. So I'm sorry for the geographic ignorance. I've been to America a few times, but really just California, New York. I visited Florida, New Jersey as well. So Florida, New Jersey, just briefly, but most of my time was I left out Hawaii. Most of the time has been in kind of LA, Los Angeles, and Hawaii. And I've traveled around California a bit, places like San Diego, San Francisco. So I know California a bit, and Hawaii, I know. I went to 4 islands, but I have a cousin in Hawaii, so she lives in Oahu. So I spent a bit of time around Hawaii. Richard, thank you, Richard, and lots of love to you. Thank you for sharing the show, and many blessings out to Richard. Let me know where you are as well, Richard. I'm just catching up on these comments. My daughter wants to go to Yukon College. And how do you feel about that? Education is changing, and people are requiring education to change and be more practical. University of Connecticut. I don't know much about University of Connecticut. There are lots of wonderful schools in America and lots of education. It's just important that we do gear the education for people to be productive members of society. And I find even with my studies, you kind of come out of school and you're hoping for some support, or you're hoping for some kind of job, but it can be tough out there for graduates. when I finished my master's degree in Buddhism, it was like there's no jobs for people with a master's degree in Buddhism. So it can be challenging, and you end up kind of waitressing or working in a bar or something, even if you've got master's degrees and the like. So people do have student debts, and it's a challenging time for a lot of people, because it's not like it was 30 years ago, where if you had a master's degree, you had a lot of choice, and there was a demand for your skills. So good school, Kimberly, University of Connecticut. We're talking about that's really cool. Kimberly, Kathleen Cardillo, yes, she's putting in hard work with basketball and track, and then books. Laugh out loud, and also working, but that is her dream. So she's really that's incredibly productive. She's really working so hard. So lots of love and good wishes to her, and that's amazing. To be well-rounded in this world, not just to be one-dimensional, but to have all these dimensions working, the balance, the health of the body, and of course the books, literacy, and the hard work. That's all beautiful skills and discipline. Bless you, Kimberly. So bless you too. Oh, I get it. Laugh out. My left eye keeps watering, and I've been sneezing a lot and blowing my nose a lot, so I need to apologize. So no need to apologize. So perhaps we're catching something in the world, hay fever, about the world situation, too much division going on, and I feel like sensitive people feel the wars, and sneezing is kind of a response to the war going on, and there's a lot happening. You are a very interesting life. What is your favorite meal, movie, TV program, holiday destination, hobbies, activities, and interests? That's a lot of questions, Richard. Thank you for asking. I may get to that another time. I'll have to think about all of that. It's a lot of questions. I did really. I'm just gonna screenshot that. Yeah. I do really enjoy Thailand. I've worked in 3 destinations in Thailand. I enjoy the islands, particularly like Asian culture. So places in Asia, Bali. I've been to Bali quite a few times. I love Bali. So I would probably choose Bali, Indonesia, Bali, if I had to choose one holiday destination, just because of how much is there. There's snorkeling, scuba diving, there's mountains, there's temples, there's a lot of spirituality in Bali, and great food. In terms of food, I like healthy food, something really nutritious, but I don't know if there's a single one favorite meal, because if it's good food, then healthy food, that's the thing for me. Healthy food with variety. I probably may go with Japanese food, perhaps. I don't know about movie. I like inspirational movies, but I don't like violent movies too much. I like movies that make you think, but I don't know. I'm just thinking if there's one movie. I'll have to think about that, Richard. One movie that I really liked. I found Inception one of the most interesting films I've ever seen. Inception. It was unnecessarily violent, so that was the only thing that I felt really unnecessary. It was all in a dream, and it just wasn't. I didn't see how all the violence really. So that was too violent, but otherwise, I thought it was an extraordinary film. And Carlos, welcome, and thank you so much. You've got a new picture. It says The Strangers. Maybe you can let me know what is going on with The Strangers. Is that something you're involved in, or something you're watching? This is my worst time of the year because of your allergies. When I was younger, I had to miss the last days of school because my allergies were so bad and my eyes would swell up. Oh, so we have similar challenges, Kathleen, and I don't know what you what you're allergic to. For me, I'm allergic to everything. So it's the chemicals in the air. It's the pollen. It's the grass. It's dust. It's mold. It's pretty much everything around. Even I'm even allergic to cats and dogs and yeah, so many allergens in the air, chemicals. And what about you? What are you allergic to? Welcome again to Carlos. We're still going with the comments, and it's great to see so many people writing. I'm just a little bit behind. Kathleen Cardillo, my 6-year-old, is going through this right now. So that's really cool, Kimberly. So Kimberly, your 6-year-old, is with us. And Richard says you have an interesting life, Africa, Asia, around the world, and Australia. Thank you, Richard. I traveled a lot, and the last few years I have been trying. Well, I suppose with COVID, I've been more based in Australia, and definitely trying not to travel around too much unless there's a real reason for it. So I've been more based in Australia, but I'd love to start to travel again in the future, and I do particularly like Asia. It's I resonate with the culture, with the religions, the spirituality of Asia. And Kathleen says New Jersey is near Massachusetts and Rhode Island, so I've been quite close. Then I haven't been too far away. And of course, I'm just thinking about the map, and Boston is on the East Coast. I think it's south of New York. So I was a little time in New York. So Boston is south of New York. And I know Toronto is north of New York. So I have a few friends in Toronto. I've never been to Toronto, or Toronto, as some of them say. And Jenna Lynn, hey, welcome, Jenna Lynn. Good to see you. We're just talking a lot. Can I ask, will these attacks stop soon? So Blessed One, when you say these attack, what attack? I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean hay fever? My son is now in California for his Marine training for 2 weeks. He became a Marine at 17 when he graduated, and he also works making a lot of money, and leaves again to Japan next year for 6 months. So that's really cool. How does he make this money? Maybe he could teach me, because I have these traffic fines to pay off. So any suggestions would be appreciated, Kimberly Ann. He's done his Marine training, and I'm not sure if you mean he actually works as a Marine when he graduates. Maybe he works as a Marine, and he's going to be in Japan for 6 months. So I think you mean he is a Marine. And Richard, you're very cultured, diverse range of skills, experience, and knowledge. Thank you, Richard. I think a lot of us grew up with a lot of interesting cultures in Africa, because there were many European influences that were part of the culture, but we also had Asian, we had Indian, we had Chinese. So there was a depth of culture, and then we had African, like actual. There were tribes there that were indigenous hunter-gatherer tribes. So they were all energetically influencing that part of the world. And then we had like the Bantu tribes, which were pretty cool. They lived in mud huts. They had these round mud huts that were really, really nice. And they were farmers. They actually farmed, the Bantu tribe. So we had many different influences. And Australia, of course, has a also interesting history. Welcome. And Kim has arrived. So welcome, Kim. Good to see you. We're just talking about topics today. Carlos, did you like the movie The Strangers? And I'm just catching up. For me, it's pollen, cut grass, and dust mites. So I've got all of those, Kathleen. So we share that, and definitely seasonally it can affect me. I'm in Rhode Island, but leaving in 3 days for Massachusetts, and I can't wait. Kimberly, and I bet you can't wait. So we're gonna all be in Massachusetts. We can all meet in Massachusetts. We can meet up. Blessed One, do you mean spiritual attacks? So yeah, just clarify what you mean, Blessed One. And I forget your name as well. I want peace and love with Russia and Ukraine and Israel and Palestine. I want to see climate change, sustainability, peace, prosperity, helping everyone live together and keep for future generations. And that's beautiful, beautiful thoughts, Richard. And prayers and thoughts do impact the world, do impact the energy field of the world, the collective energy, the collective consciousness of humanity. We do have a collective consciousness, and sending out prayers does have an effect. And when you send out prayers, it's important to send the love and peace to all parties. So I know, whenever you have a war, there's two sides, but there's more than two sides. I mean, it's not just two sides, because it's more complicated than that. But even if we just think of two sides, and politics as well, I know in America you have sort of two main parties. It's going to change soon. We're going to move beyond this kind of polarity, because right now there's too much division, and we need to meet in the middle, have conversations, interact with each other, and live more of what the Buddhist vision is, the Buddhist teaching of the middle way. The middle way is really such an important theme and perspective on the reality, on the world. And I find that any wisdom teaching, I'm tending to come back to the middle way, which is Russia and Ukraine, acknowledging the suffering of all the people in that region, sending them love and peace, and promoting sustainability and prosperity for all, helping everyone, sharing the planet. And really, when we share, when we work together, when we help each other, these ideas are not they're not fantasies. They are possible. We really can create a wonderful world together, and sending these prayers of peace out to all the people suffering in the world. There's a lot more wars going on, in fact. So I know that there's two that are visible in the media, or most popular in the media. But there's a war in the north of Israel with Hezbollah, Iran, with the Iranian-backed Hezbollah. So it's and Iran has attacked Israel as well. So there's also other parties in this war. Unfortunately, there are other wars going on in the world. Because I even met someone recently who lives in America, and she was telling me about a war that I didn't know about, and I'm trying to remember where it was, and I'm embarrassed that I couldn't believe that her country was at war, and I didn't know about it. But just be aware that there's lots of wars going on in the world, and it's not just not just one or two wars. Unfortunately, there's multiple wars, and I don't remember the war she was talking about. Sorry about that. So it's I'm just wondering what it was. But so many wars going on in the world, unfortunately. Azerbaijan, I think it was. What's that? Does that make sense? Azerbaijan? Yeah, Azerbaijan. So the war in Azerbaijan, I didn't know about it, but there's wars going on. Myanmar's got an ongoing war, Sudan, Nigeria, multiple, Yemen, of course. So there's even border wars. India's in a border war with Pakistan. There's Haiti. We really do have multiple. Sudan, I think I mentioned, Cameroon. So there's multiple conflicts, and the media do just focus on one or two. And Kimberly, yeah, he's a Marine, but on reserve, so he works under my oldest son in a facility and makes good money at his age. But yeah, he makes less when he has to go to training because the government pays our military like crap. And that's another topic. The sacrifices people make in the military, and often the injuries and deaths they suffer. So it's a very brutal. It is very brutal. Jenny Lynn, Rhode Island isn't that bad. Laugh out loud. Kathleen, no, it isn't, but the people in RI can be. Well, that's not very nice. Yeah, you're right. Now that you mention, I'm going to Massachusetts too. Out loud. And Kathleen Cordillo, her family is so mean to her out there. That's why she's the mom of my nephew and my brother's fiance. But under some things can happen. That happened. They were split, and her family is just so mean to her. So sorry to hear about that. It's really a pity when you have these conflicts within families. Sorry to hear that, Kathleen. Conflicts within families, and it's another thing, sending peace and love out, prayers out to all the people involved, understanding that these ancestral traumas do continue within family lines, division, jealousies, and these behaviors. Abuse is very common within families. And I just need to blow my nose quickly. Sorry for that. And so it's been an interesting show today with all my hay fever. With all my hay fever. What is the future of the planet? What is the future of the world? Okay, that's a little bit better. So what is the future of the world? I do see many conflicts going on now, and as I said, it's not just one or two. There's many. Just Google, the wars of the 21st century. There's been so many, but the media doesn't cover them, or doesn't generally cover them. I was talking about Azerbaijan and meeting a friend she lives in Florida. She's a girlfriend of an old friend of mine, and she comes from Azerbaijan, and apologies if I got the pronunciation wrong. And I was telling her about the conflict there, which I didn't know about. And so that is the situation. We do have a lot of wars and conflicts, and it's important that we shift the energy, bring peace, and remember to see both sides, see all sides in the conflicts. I was talking about two sides. There's often a lot more than two sides, of course. It's so complicated, the world. So even if you see it in two sides, it's not really like that. There's so much complexity around this world. So let me know what's on your minds. We've lost a few people. I see. Let me know who wants readings or what's going on in the world. I see. I'm just looking back at Richard's beautiful comments. Thank you, Richard. It's very, very touching. And Richard asked lots of questions, activities, interests. I like to go to the beach. I like to cook, bake. I like painting. So the artwork over here is my artwork, Richard. I like beautiful things, artwork, drawing, nature. I love hiking, being in nature, being in water. I'm sort of like a dolphin, so I really enjoy being in the water. And I like to cook and bake different things. And I also like yoga. I like qigong. Some martial arts, some swimming. I think I mentioned water, swimming. And I'm interested in many things, Richard. I have multiple interests. Kimberly, may I have a reading? So we've got a reading. That's good, Kimberly. Thank you. Because we've talked a lot about myself today. Good questions and these beautiful comments, and kind of exploring geography, exploring where things are. We talked quite a bit about Boston. And Kimberly Ann, let's have a look at what the cards are telling you today. And Kim Lanza, I think Kim's left. Kim was very quiet today. She usually has lots of interesting comments and questions. So lots of love up to Kimberly. And I hope your ankle's doing better. Your foot and ankle, I know you were feeling it was inflamed and it was painful for you to walk. So I hope that's all healed up now and you're feeling much better, Kim. Oh, you're here. So you're so quiet, Kim. I'm not used to you being quiet. All right, so let's come back to Kimberly, just focusing the energy back on you, Kimberly. Okay, so I'm feeling like there's a lot of energy around you. It's almost like you well, there's a lot of chaos, but there's like you're tied up. There's indecision. So the bottom line, I would say, is indecision around you. So what are you struggling with at the moment? It just seems like there's more than one thing. There's multiple things, and perhaps it's just the state of the world that a lot of people are experiencing, this feeling of things not moving forward, things not flowing, things not progressing. So from a spiritual level, you are progressing. It's just slow. It's a little bit feels stuck right now, Kimberly. So things are going to move forward. There is abundance around you, but just emotionally, there's a stuck feeling. There's this indecision where you don't know whether to go left or right. You're in the state of unknowing. Just focus on your what you really want. Focus on what you really want, what your goals are, what you want, not just so that's Kimberly is saying there's everything going on from family and financial to teenagers. So that explains why the cards pick this up. There's so much in your life. There is great possibility for much more happiness, healing, opening up in the future. There's like I would say it's like this cornucopia around you, a lot of energies. So that's what's happening at the moment. Lots and lots of energies, whether it's finances, job, romance, family. There's so much going on for you, Kimberly, and the energies are a bit tied up for you. So if you can really take time for yourself, focus on yourself, your own energy body, how you would like to move things forward with your motion, with your motivation, your sense of personal freedom, how you want to live your life. Focus on that. And the more you focus, the more you intend, the more the power of intention comes into play. You'll be able to shift things around. So instead of being stuck in sort of the mud, move things towards the road forward that you want to manifest. So bring your spirit guides in to support you, and focus on what resonates with you. Bring your destiny forward and clear away all the cobwebs. So that's all I have for you, Kimberly. You just said my stepdad just had something going on with him. Our family is not doing the right thing. So sorry to hear about that, Kimberly. It's people make choices and they do have their effect, and there's always this complexity going on. I'm an empath, so I feel everything, because those cards were all sort of cluttered. So it was hard to describe what I was feeling, but that makes sense, that you're absorbing a lot of these energies. So take a break. See if you can go every day away alone in nature, forest bathing. I was talking about forest bathing earlier, away from things so you can be alone, meditate away. You don't need to sit in meditation, just walk in a forest, breathe in the air, leave your phone behind. Just be, take that time for yourself. And there is opportunity opening up in the future, so things are coming together, but focus on your intentions and your goals right now. So Sean G, hello, that's a beautiful picture. I love your picture. It looks like an artwork. What is in the future between S and I? All right, we'll see what comes up for you, Sean. I'm getting this Shawnee feeling, though. I don't know why. This Shawnee feeling. So let's have a look at you, Sean. And sorry, sorry, this card is jumped out. Okay, so this is a complex card. I'm just gonna pick more cards and see what comes up for you, Sean. And my cousins call me Shawnee. Yeah, that's what I was feeling to call you. That's what I wanted to call you, but Shawnee. Yeah, I don't know why, but that's what I wanted to say. I'm an artist, so that's awesome. So welcome to Shawnee. I'm also an artist, so I love artists, and artists are the way of the future, beautifying the world and bringing their creative energy to uplift humanity, make it into a better place. So Shawnee, let's have a look at that. So there's a lot of energies coming up that's interesting around you, Shawnee. You're a person with a lot of depth and talent, and your mission is quite a multi-dimensional. So your life is not just about a narrow energy, a narrow thing. You had to experience many energies, but you're feeling quite, I would almost say anxious. There's almost this anxious feeling where you're just not sure and you're questioning. I do see in the future blossoming abundance, so good things are coming to you. Focus on grounding yourself, getting really grounded in your body, and not overthinking too much about what the future is going to happen, because we just have the now. And this is and sometimes even if one door closes, another door will open, and we just need to live in the now sometimes. So these cards are saying, don't try and map out the future, because you need to be in the now. There are different options opening up for you. It's not a narrow kind of reading or a narrow kind of answer. It feels like you will have choices. So you will have choices. So don't feel like you only have one way or one possible path. So they're healthy and happier choices for you that are going to open up. Follow your heart in this, and know that there is abundance out there. Your thoughts and feelings are affecting your life, of course. So when you are confused, you're bringing this kind of confusion, and you're sort of vacillating between left and right and left, and just take a wider look, get a wider perspective, big picture, get some distance on it, focus on your happiness and your joy. Joseph Campbell, he was writing about finding your bliss. So tap into your inner connection to find your way forward. Don't try to map out your future too much. Focus on the now. There is abundance opening up for you. Your heart chakra is also opening up, so things are shifting. But with this relationship, it feels unresolved, and sit with that. Sit with that right now. That's what you're here to do. You're not here to live in the future. So that's all I've got for you, Shawnee. Good luck with everything. Good luck with your art, and keep creating. Keep creating. So thank you so much for that. Let me know in the comments if anyone wants a reading, if there's anything going on. I missed the first segment of the show. Were you discussing miracles? I don't remember, Kim. I'm not sure. That's a great topic, miracles, and I think that's important that we don't get stuck in hopelessness, despair. That remember that behind every tree is abundance. Behind every tree is another tree. Behind every tree is another branch, is leaves and things. There's not one way to live life. There's not one way for you to find love, for you to find to make money, generate income. There's many ways. There's not one tree, because I'm looking outside and seeing another tree behind another tree, and they're all intertwined, and that's the nature of this earthly life, this intertwinement, this interconnection, this let's just think about miracles, and I'm just gonna pick a card about miracles. Let's have a look. Okay, so if you weren't afraid, if you weren't afraid, what would you do? So that's the question to focus on. If you weren't afraid, what would you do? So really meditate on that today. That's my question for you. If you weren't afraid, what would you do? All right. So thank you so much for you, Richard, and for everyone for being on the show today, making it so interesting and diverse. And we talked about many topics. It was quite an exploration. How is your family, friends, and loved ones? So many beautiful wishes from Richard. And taking this time now that the show's got quiet, to send out love and prayers to all the peoples of the world and all the beings of the world. So not just the human beings, but all the animals, because animals are precious too. And animals are meant to be here and to experience life. They're meant to experience life. Trees are meant to be here and meant to experience life. So if ever we make sacrifices for people who cut down a tree, remember to ask permission of that tree to do it in a respectful way, to honor the sacred nature of that tree. If we do inflict harm upon nature, do it in a sacred way, and don't take more than what you need, and always give back. So we can always plant more trees. We can always give more to nature. Keep feeding nature, honoring nature, loving nature, giving to the world, and not keeping it selfishly for ourselves. There's plenty of abundance in nature in this world, and when people take and hoard, that cuts the flow. So sharing is so important. Connecting to nature, honoring nature. We are part of nature. We are products of nature. this is not a foreign alien environment for us. This is our home. The trees are our home. Nature is our home. The ground is our home. Take care of the ground, of the earth. And when you think of food, nourish the earth that the food is growing from. So Norma says you're fascinating. Thank you, Norma. That's very kind. Lots of greetings. Wout Eekhout. Wout says, hi, David. Where are you, Wout? Or should it be, sounds like a Norwegian or Dutch. Is that a Dutch? No, I'm not sure. Norwegian, somewhere in Europe. I would like a reading for what is on my bench to do as next steps or goals. Feeling a bit uninspired. So I maybe got your name wrong. Is it Vote or what? Yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I am sorry. And let me know where you're from, because you kind of sound maybe Norwegian or something, Iceland or something cool like that. Okay, Belgium, in Bali currently. So there's so much energy in Bali, and my friend is in Bali. I'm just going to the airport tomorrow to pick her up early in the morning. She's flying into Australia. So Belgium, so Flemish or French. You speak a few languages in Belgium, but I know about Flemish. And whoa, so that's awesome. What? Let's just see what's going on for you. What? And you just look like this graphic design or something. That's such a cool picture. It's just, yeah, beautiful picture. So thank you, Vote. Oh, you said, is that your name? Wode. Okay, sorry. Wode. Okay, now I get it. I was like, word plus B. Word. Okay, word. Thank you for that. Words. Let's just have a look. All the way from Belgium in Bali. All right. So there's a lot of energy. I'm liking the energy word. And this is telling me that you have divine guidance. You have divine guidance. I'm going to pick another card. Kim says she watched a very interesting documentary about the deepest trenches in the ocean. There's wonderful life and undiscovered species. Lots of mystery in the world. Lots of things out there, that extraordinary nature, that things living in all sorts of weird and wonderful places. So we will keep discovering life, discovering more life, and in different parts of our beautiful universe, not just the earth, but under the ocean. And of course we will find our ancestors and the many different off-planet civilizations that have visited and left remnants, or still living underground, or still some bases around. So Wode, let's have a look. Wode. So your cards are very interesting word. Interpreting them is not so easy. So you definitely have this strong energy, this power. It's almost like you almost have like this charisma. I would say that's very passionate and strong and evocative, that people feel your passion, people feel your energy. So you have this strong energy, and you have a wisdom to share, but there's this divine consciousness that's pouring through you. So that's pouring through your heart, through your intention, and it's like this amazing energy that's filling up your emotional being, that can help to unblock any stuck energy, revitalize your life force. So you have this presence, and know that at the deepest level, healing is taking place. So you're affecting your environment around you with this healing energy, and with this, the energy of divine guidance. So that is also opening up the divine guidance. So it's still not quite general. It's not giving me specific information, but you're open to the soul contracts of the Akash, and these agreements are set in place. So there's a relationship that's gonna shift, but there's someone who's not to be trusted around you as well. So just be careful. There's a female energy as well. She is quite different to you. But notice there's someone around you. Just be careful that they are perhaps not 100% straight. There's a deception card going on. So what I feel like it's important for you to continue on the path. Continue on this path. You have an energy that brings balance to the world, and I'm feeling like any creative endeavors are going to be successful for you right now. So this is you're a creative soul, so this is a time to create and push forward very strongly. So this is kind of really encouraging you to push forward, continue, create. I do see a different, yes, it seems to go slow with not so much current on the holiday plan. Is that my mother? Yeah, I'm feeling like there's a bit of deceit around her. But I feel like there is another woman around you that's very different to you, more she's more self-contained, I would say. So this is a time to express yourself and go out there in the world. So that's really important. And keep moving. Just remember, not everyone is for you, but God is for you. So you have the power of God with you. So that's a very powerful statement. And any spiritual teacher, spiritual leader, like just thinking of Jesus, for instance, faced a lot of opposition, a lot of people not helping. So that's what you do have. You do have some people not helping you, not supporting you. Just allow that to be. Accept that as part of this path that you are on. So thank you, Word, and good luck. Good luck to you, and thank you for being on the show, Nia. Welcome, Nia. I like your picture. And we're going to go offline. It's been a great pleasure and privilege to be with you all today, and I've enjoyed it. The weather's beautiful, and my allergies, my hay fevers, it's feeling a little bit better right now. So go in peace. Thanks to Wode, and enjoy the rest of your trip in Bali. That's awesome. Lots of love to everyone, and we shall see you soon.